It's Kringle time. Sit back, relax. It's time to dive into a world of laughter and learning with the Kringle brothers, reminding us that we are better together.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Kringle time. We're the Kringle brothers. I'm Michael.
And I'm Michael.
Yes, or AKA Herbie. Welcome. We're so glad that you're able to be with us. Now, first of all, Mike, I want to thank Mel because she was supposed to take the link on our Facebook page and immediately share it to TNL. We're a part of the TNL network production. And we thank you, Bob and Scott, and all of the crew there. Miss Angie, we appreciate your support and everything that you do for us and asking us to come. So how are you doing, Michael?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good. You have a good week?
I did. How about you?
I had a great week.
Well, I heard you had an early Father's Day gift, though.
Oh, I did. My daughter and my son-in-law rented a pontoon boat. And we went and got on the pontoon boat on Sunday and took a wonderful ride on the lake. And it was a little nippy, with the breeze, but the sun was out. So I wore my coat, the whole time and picnic lunch, but I had shorts on. And of course, my one knee's not the best in the world. So I had my ace bandage and stuff, my wrap on it. So I have one sunburned knee and one farmer white knee.
Well, you're going to make a good look going down the street wearing shorts.
Well, I was thinking it's more like zebra, like a red zebra. White, red.
You know what? If you got really, really talented, we can actually make you some socks that actually have like the white spaces cut out, so you're just wearing strips, so you can get sunburn and have stockings all the time.
Oh, dude, that would be Peppy Long stockings, branded on you. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a little Pippi Longstocking here. Well, we do have some early people with us. We have Santa Doug. Hello. Matt Spalding. Hi.
Oh, yes. And Rex is there and Charlie's there. And Mel from Battle Creek.
And we also have Gary with us and Jenny Kringle.
Oh, and there's Sal. Oh, wonderful.
And Oliver. Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you could join us.
Wonderful.
You know what we're going to talk about today, Michael?
Yes, I do. In other words, back to last time we looked at, the four areas of the heart of a Christmas performer. There are four hearts have four chambers. And so in other words, we talked about character development last week, and costume and prop is one chamber or one area. Performance, your performance and your business management. And so we thought we'd dive in tonight and look at the character development. You are a character, Michael.
Oh, I know. But you know what? I learned from the best, and that's what we're going to discuss here.
So why don't you go ahead and start it?
Why don't you tell me your definition of what character development is?
Well, what I wrote for character development for me, I think you're a little bit more performance based in your definition of it. And for me, I think my natural tendency is to look more inside, of who I'm at heart. And I can dive right in it. We'll all right, let me read it first. I'm shocked. Squirrel, there it goes. So I wrote down for character development, developing and embodying a compelling character is essential for a Christmas performer. Whether they're portraying Santa Claus, an elf, or any other festive character, we need to bring authenticity, warmth, and charm to the role. This involves understanding the character's background, their personality traits, their mannerism, their speech patterns to deliver an engaging performance that resonates with the audience.
Oh, I like that.
So that's my definition I wrote. Now, I think as you were working, I think you had a little bit different, but yours was more as a performance end of it. So what did you write?
Well, yes. I went more back to like my performance background, my roots right there with character development is a series of steps that performers use to create a believable and nuanced portrayal of their character. This process can help an actor fully embody their roles and deliver an authentic performance. I sound more like Webster's Dictionary. You sound more from the heart.
Oh, that's a hoot. Well, Santa Kevin's online and Kathy's here and Tan's here and Robert's
Dave
on.
Denby and Robert McNamara. Oh, we do have a wonderful group of people with us tonight. And okay, so let's dive into a few pointers or some steps in developing your Christmas character. Now, the first step, and I think Michael actually touched on this as well, is understanding your character. Christmas performers often portray iconic and beloved residents of the North Pole and maybe even Whoville. We all know our favorite person from Whoville, don't we, Michael?
Yes.
Who is it?
I was going to do the joke and say Horton. Horton here. Who?
Hey, Horton could be in Whoville.
I love little Lucy Lou.
Oh, Lucy Lou is awesome. I'm more of a Max fan. I love the one antler.
Oh yeah. All right. Everyone wants us to say Grinch, but little Lucy Lou, she just warms my heart.
But do you know one thing with all these characters that we mentioned from Whoville or even from the Christmas performer world is that all these characters are deeply rooted in cultural traditions and often come with certain expectations from the audience. So in order to basically come and begin to deliver a believable, authentic character, we have to analyze a few things, such as background, personality traits, objectives and obstacles, and also maybe the relationship with the other residents of the North Pole, meaning reindeer, elves, of course, the always most important person, Mrs. Claus. And if you have any other ones, sort of like I have Sparkles, the last unicorn. And why do we call her Sparkle Pants? Because the elves keep trying to put pants on her all the time.
Sparkle Pants. You've never told me that.
That's what I say when they always ask if I can have a unicorn, and I can't. Sparkle Pants, and the elves just love putting pants on her.
Oh my gosh!
But in all honesty, when we come and look at our characters, we can often draw from inspiration from a variety of different sources, whether it be literature, films, art, or even real people. And I just want to run this PowerPoint really quickly here.
All right.
And it's just going to give you some ideas of some inspirations.
Let me take that banner off for you.
I got it right there. Thank you. All right. So, influence of a Christmas performer. Now, of course, the first one, the one that most of the Santa world knows, is Hayden Sundblom. And that'd be the Coca-Cola Santa. And if you notice, dark eyebrows. And then we could go into Miracle on 34th Street, Edmund Gwenn. Also, Richard Attenborough, and I'm not talking the Richard Attenborough of Jurassic Park.
You know, I love that version, especially when they introduce the little girl and the chirping, jingle bells, jingle. Oh, no one's to make us sell. All right, sorry.
Oh, no. That's one of the reasons why people ask me what my favorite movie is for Christmas. I always say Miracle on 34th Street, both the Edmund Gwenn version and Richard Attenborough, because of those two scenes. Of course, with Edmund Gwenn, it's singing in Dutch, Sinterklaas. And of course, with Richard Attenborough, singing Jingle Bells in sign language always brings a little tear every time I watch it. Some other ones is Ed Asner and Elf. We also have Kurt Russell in the Christmas Chronicles. And of course, Tim Allen in the Santa Claus. And of course, we have Stan Francis from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Alec Baldwin in The Rise of the Guardians. And this one, it's a little hard to see, but this is actually Grandpa Claus from Arthur's Christmas.
Which is a fun little cartoon.
It is. Now, even from a Mrs. Claus, you have Elizabeth Mitchell, who played Mrs. Claus in The Santa Claus, Angela Lansbury in Mrs. Santa Claus.
I can't help it. Every time you see her, though, I keep thinking of the mysteries.
Oh yeah, Angela Lansbury. Oh yeah, A Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For me, it's always Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh yeah.
Yes. We also have Goldie Hawn playing Mrs. Claus in the Christmas Chronicles. Of course, Arthur Christmas, and of course, The Year Without a Santa Claus. And then for elves, we have Bernard from the Santa Claus, Wayne and Laney from Prep and Landing.
Oh, I love those two.
Great show. Jingle and Jangle, A Year Without a Santa Claus. And of course, Hermie, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Who often a lot of people confuse me for Hermie.
Your hair isn't as blonde as his.
You don't think so? I still like the little swoop of the hair. It's always good there.
But you do have that cute little nose.
I do have a little button nose, especially when I put the nose on. And of course, Byrony Shelfley from Arthur's Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, let's see here. I'm just we got some AJ's in the house now, and we have Bill Gorbert as well as Tania Hampson. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Matt just
Ooh.
said there's a new Prep and Landing coming this fall.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
But see, from these different elements that I showed you, you can actually help create your Christmas performer. Now, not only just from movies and, of course, different variations in the artwork, but think of the transformation of Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. Now, Michael, you have a wonderful Santa character. Who were some of your influences or inspirations?
Well, when I sat down with a sheet of paper, and I would encourage everyone to do this, I got this from Stuart Deacon. He encouraged me to sit down on a piece of paper and start to think, where does your Santa come from in your heart? Where do you draw on that character? And so for me, I came up with three. One was the Coca-Cola Santa. That's the Santa I remember as a child, and it was very magical for me. But and then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, eat Santa, eat, right? That was Santa, being born 1960. That was my Santa. I loved that show. I identified with the Island of Misfit Toys, big time. And so that was my Santa. That was just a natural. If I want to be a Santa, I still have beard envy for him, but and then for mannerisms and stuff, it doesn't come from a Santa.
Really? Where does it come from?
My mannerisms that I try to portray and that go through my head is the spirit of Christmas presents. And of course, I love musicals. So, here he is with that green robe, this big guy and jolly, come in and know me better, man. I like life likes me. Ha, 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 he, a perpetual spree. So I love that musical and the mannerisms that he came with, but then at the same time, how firm and how strong he was to protect children. Remember when he opened up his robes, and then he just put Ebenezer, in his place, about the kids and taking care of children. And so that was a big influence. So when I portray and I work, I draw a lot from the spirit of Christmas present.
Oh, you bring up really good points. I think for me, I mentioned this already, but it would be like Edmund Gwynn, Richard Attenborough. But I also love the I can only imagine the voice of the Christmas from Prep and Landing, the voice of Santa. But also I love some of the items that they use for Kurt Russell in the Christmas Chronicles. It was a little bit more modern, but it was a nice combining of different folklore and different ideas and traditions from many different languages, different countries.
Bill says he gets it from Edwin Gwynn and Tim Allen.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. And then Parker O'Dell comes. Mine is from John Srouch, Joe Barney, David North, and a little bit of Christ mixed in. You know what, Parker? That is wonderful collection, because that's going to bring me to my next point. You don't only have to look at literary or media versions to help with your Christmas performance. Real people also provide. Yeah. I'm very lucky. My brother is one of my inspirations. And this is one of the things that I actually did. I created a hero board. And these are the Christmas performers that I look up to and look for inspiration. Of course, Michael's on there. My lovely wife, Stacy's on there because she's probably one of the most giving individuals. But Steve Gillum, Lee Andrews, Joe Barney, Leon McBride, these individuals, not only from a Santa perspective, but just from a performance perspective, is truly amazing. Randall.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff McMullen. I mean, there are wonderful individuals out there, and I really highly suggest
Santa True. I throw Santa True on that list too. Yeah.
Santa True covers so many different things, and he's a wonderful individual to speak to. But these are the different elements that you can actually get to create your Christmas performer. As for Mrs. Claus, you have so many different other elements too. I mean, Nina Britt. Look at Santa Nana. Those two individuals putting on Santa Nana are wonderful. Judy and help me out here.
I'm sorry.
It's going to escape me, and I'll probably come up with it at the end of it.
Should we
But
do? You need some think music.
no, I don't need anything.
Dum, 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 dum.
Judy
The
Broderick,
answer is
and Deanna.
there. You go. I knew the music would help.
I
you.
know I had to get the Jeopardy music going. Thank you, Santa Scott, for coming in at that point. Oh, Rex Ray said another one is David Huddleston. So just for a few moments here, I would like everybody who's watching this right now. Oh, yes, Parker, we do have to mention Santa Mel. There's another individual with a heart bigger than her body when it comes to basically being a performer. But I want each of you to take just a few minutes and think about your inspirations. Think about how you, when you go onto a set or you're visiting with children at home or families, what do you put into place in your own mind?
Yeah.
Now, the next step, as you're trying to conceptualize this, is physical characteristics. And what I mean by that is being a Santa performer, Michael, and you can agree or disagree as you like to, but we pretty much have a standard look.
Mm-hmm.
White beard, eyebrows, usually very jovial, very chubby.
And for the most part, it's defined for us.
Exactly.
What's nice is Mrs. Clauses and elves, their boundaries are whatever they'd like.
I think in the conversation with Kimmy Claus last night, one of the things that was mentioned that really struck me to the heart was when it comes to elves and Mrs. Claus, their history is constantly evolving. There's no parameters set. There's no rigid rules. They can just go and be what they want to be. And I think that's so wonderful because, again, the world is so huge and there's so many different aspects out there that you can use. But when we also talk about physical characteristics, we want to think about posture, gestures, movements that reflect your character's personality. I know for me, Michael, one of the best things I see you do, especially when you tell a story and you're getting to a little serious part, you always go, now, do you remember? Or when you put them back on again, and it's just like, now I've been watching you and you've been so good this year. It's those little characteristics that you either are ingrained, that you create yourself, or you actually get from a mentor.
Well, yeah. In other words, I think it's what you develop in your mind. And what's nice is there's no real absolute. There's some things, all right, you've got the white beard, you've got the suit on, but some mannerisms or your pausing and your gait and your speech and your intuition, that's really for you to develop.
Right.
I know as with ADHD, I know one of the things that I have to work on, and those who know me know this is the truth, is to slow down. And so one of the things that when I put that suit on, I slow down, and literally, with my ADHD and squirrels are going like crazy. I know that when children are in front of me, I remind myself internally, I always say, this is the most important conversation I'm going to have today. And so when I'm talking to that child, I'm making sure I'm looking at them, following them. And so when I feel the squirrel thing happening, because there's so much going on, especially at the Great Wolf Lodge, all this external stuff, that I literally will remind myself, this is the most important conversation right now. It's happening. Don't miss it. Don't miss it, Michael.
Oh no, you have some very good points there. But you bring up a very good element though. And that is, again, this will be something we can discuss further into the future when we start talking about performance-based stuff. But it is understanding your audience and making each visit, whether it be a mall or whether it be in a home, that this could be the last time that you actually portray a Christmas performer and you want to give it your all. So now the next thing too is I want to talk about when you're actually developing your character, because we've already discussed basically some internal aspects, your background story, motivations, what you're trying to actually achieve. And we discussed some physical characteristics, but now let's talk about vocal.
Ooh.
How does your Santa sound? Are you like the Steve Gillum Santa who likes to go as the befuddly grandfather type atmosphere? Or are you?
You know what? I really think that's natural for him.
Oh, it could be. But I mean, based upon our conversations, um, he is smarter than a whip sometimes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's a
Um,
creative genius.
And at the same time, too, though, but there, as a counterpoint to it, look at somebody like Lee Andrews, who, if he embodies his Louis character as being Santa, where he could be very playful and give you a couple good zingers and keep the adults on their toes as well, but still have that compassion, that loving feeling towards a child.
Yeah, what's cool is with Lee, you see the Louis character, his clown character, and then seeing him portray Santa, you can literally see the difference in the personalities. I mean, how he controls that, and yeah, which is awesome.
And that again, though, that brings up the character development atmosphere of what we're talking about here, where he can actually have two very independent characters with so many different characteristics, but they're all somewhat different from his true character of being Lee Andrews.
Yeah.
So it's amazing when you get into doing this. And again, from maybe an activity that you'd like to try from a vocal perspective. And again, what we want you to do is consider your tone, your pitch, your pace. And if you're fortunate enough, now I don't recommend this for everybody, but if you can actually produce an accent.
Well, yeah.
I come up with this weird accent. However, and I was asked about it at a visit last year, and I just came out of the blue that it's North Polish.
North Polish.
And as I said it, I didn't realize it, but the family thought that was the most hysterical thing they even heard of.
Did they make a comment about kielbasa?
Oh, yes, they probably did.
Sorry, Michael.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, good.
Here's another quick activity that you could even practice in front of a mirror, and that is just simply saying Merry Christmas first as your character, then try a different character, maybe as an elf. Yeah. Maybe if you're a Santa, you try saying it as Mrs. Claus. And
I like Sean's comment. It says my voice gets very soft and much higher, but she has to be careful not talking like that for hours. You can lose your voice if you've got to practice it.
No, again, when we're speaking about vocals, and Michael, you being a professional singer and music artist, as well, you have to protect those vocal cords at all times. So you don't want to overexert your voice when not necessary.
We should probably try to get Santa Bruce in to talk about vocals a little bit. That would be a good visit. I mean, if people don't know, he is a vocal genius.
He is. Oh my goodness. And we're very fortunate to be close to him to actually talk to him when we need to. Matt's actually saying
he'll make the show international since he's from Canada.
We have a few people from Canada here. But Matt Spalding says, I always make a conscious effort to speak at a lower end of my natural register, not like a fake deep voice, but a voice is naturally mid-range and I can slip into high when I get excited. So I have to speak in my naturally lower tones because I feel it sounds older than I am. And that's true. That's a very good point. So when we talk about, again, vocal characteristics, it's not just protecting the voice, but it's also developing your character's voice. And again, Rex Wright pointed out, Santa Drew told me once my natural voice was the best Santa voice he has ever heard, but I find I must concentrate on speaking softly so as not to scare little ones.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right, Rex, with this.
Good word.
But at the same time, too, is it's also knowing your audience. I believe someone mentioned earlier in the chat that they have to speak a little lower and not be so animated and excited because you never know what channel could be in the autistic range or spectrum. Until you can actually get a good feel for that, it's best not to go, as Michael and I like to say, nuclear.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, no, you just blinked a minute, but you're back. It's okay.
Oh, good.
I'm going to bring up, I would love to have a conversation sometime, and I know that we don't have probably time tonight, but I'd love to talk sometime about nonverbal communication.
Oh, that'd be another wonderful thing.
So that point that we talk about, our voice and protecting that, there's so much communication that I think is nonverbal that we need to practice in our character and who we are at the same time. So I would love on another date, to talk about nonverbal,
but not even too is just, I mean, that almost goes along to what we're talking about, going back to like the physicality aspects.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you do a number of parades, and I know you work at the Great Wolf Lodge, and you do a lot of things where you have to project, but you don't really use your voice. It's more or less.
Well, I use what I've learned from singing and diaphragm and pulling it out and project, and yeah.
And again, Bill was posted that nonverbal was the topic that he spoke on in Memphis. I'm sorry, Bill, I missed that. That would have been a wonderful.
Oh my gosh, I wish I would have got that one. Yeah.
And Sandra Scott is body language is very important. You are very correct, Scott. Michael and I both have experiences as working as mascots because of doing the Easter Bunny, where you can't speak. And for me, that's the hardest thing I can possibly do.
You know what? I've got to throw this out. If I'm shotgunning you too bad, one of my favorite things as Easter Bunny is I had a little child, looking at me, and you can't talk, but then I would start movements, right? And all of a sudden, the next thing I knew, that child was mimicking every movement that I was doing to him, and I thought I got him. It worked. So yeah, Easter Bunny thing. All right, sorry.
No.
It was a flashback, and
But again, though, this is what I'm referring to in character development. When you came up with your Easter Bunny, the Mitten State Easter Bunny, you had to actually take different elements that you couldn't actually employ with your Santa because of the confines of not being able to speak. There are some Easter bunnies or Easter characters that choose not to wear a mask or a headpiece. They prefer to use the makeup and prosthetics so they can actually be more or less like the Disney versions where they can actually speak. But another aspect too to consider when actually developing a character is your emotional connection. This brings the authenticity to your performance. Emotionally connect with your character, to use techniques like emotional memory or the magic if. And what I mean by that is, what would you do if you were in that situation? Meaning, if Santa was basically, lack of better words, the premise of the Santa Claus, fell off the roof. Now, granted, you wouldn't end up giving up the suit at that point in time. But
if we fell off, were we just in back pain?
Yes, a little bit of back pain, a little bit. That's when you get Prep and Landing to come and help you out. But also, too, is with the emotional aspects is to go ahead and identify the character's objectives, what they want, and their tactics, and how to achieve it. This helps in understanding the character's actions and decisions throughout the performance. Now, as you can see, what Michael and I are trying to discuss here is on a performance-based level, getting in front of a large group of people, corporate events, theme parks, tree lighting, to understand and then be able to work in different elements that may actually come into your show. An unruly child, people running through. These are the things that you have to think like your character and how would they handle it. So do you think at this point in time, Michael, it's ready for a commercial break?
Well, you know what? Yeah. You know what? We would just like to thank, our people. We would just like to thank Larry. Larry, you're awesome. We appreciate you helping out, brother. All right.
Are you going crazy managing clients, contracts, and invoices? Kringle Tracker is here to help you. Stay organized with ease. Keep your sanity in check with Kringle Tracker's intuitive tools to effectively manage your schedule and clients. Our seamless, customizable contract system allows you to tailor your contracts to you and your clients' needs. Prepare for tax time like a pro by tracking your income and expenses and generate reports to make it a breeze. Transform your clause business by signing up for a free 20-day trial. Kringle Tracker was created by a clause for the Claws community so you can focus on making magical memories for your clients. Head over to kringletracker.com and sign up for your free trial today.
I've got my Kringle Tracker mug.
And I have mine too.
You know, they say everything tastes better in a Kringle Tracker mug.
Cheers.
And just a reminder, Kringle Tracker is not the Kringle Brothers, even though we're close in the same name, completely different. And yeah, thank you, Santa Roger, for all that you do. Kringle Tracker is an awesome CRM program, phenomenal CRM program.
Oh, yes. Roger is amazing. I'm just looking at some of the chats in here. I'm just trying to get caught up on some of these here.
Well, go ahead. You look through the chats real quick and how about if I talk about the dad jokes for a second?
Oh, that'd be great. Why don't you go ahead and do that? And make sure you bring up how to get them to us too.
All right, I will. In other words, we love a good dad joke, and so we were thinking it would be fun to have a dad joke segment, in Kringle time. And so, but we'd like your help with it. So if you'll take your handy dandy phone and then make sure you record it horizontally. All right. In other words, this isn't a Tic Tac format. So this is Tic Tac does everything Tic Tac. Would you like a mint? Tic Tac. I made myself laugh. All right. TikTok does everything vertically, not TikTok.
Now we're doing commercial for Tic Tacs. Cool.
I'm sorry. All right. Control yourself. Stop it. All right. Please turn your phone, record yourself with a dad joke, just a short one, so do the joke like if I was doing it going, where do all the elves keep their money? And then wait 3 seconds, 4 seconds, pause, but don't say pause in the recording. All right. And then go in a snowbank, right? And then cut it and send that to me. And let me bring up the man. If you would, send it to kringlebrothers2@gmail.com. It should be with just like a 60-second, 20-second clip of a dad joke. It shouldn't be any problem sending that to us, and we'll collect them and we'll go through them, and it would be fun to show a dad joke from everybody, one a night kind of thing, the dad joke of the week, and then this is a good way that you can collect information too for your dad jokes. I love telling a good dad jokes.
What was the one I told you earlier?
I'm trying to remember. What was it?
Why can't you hear when a pterodactyl goes to the bathroom?
Oh,
because the P is silent.
All right. Oh, too much fun. So send your dad jokes to kringlebrothers2@gmail.com. And yeah, it'll be fun going through those and playing them. There. How's that, Mila?
That was great. Now let's try doing the trivia now.
Oh, should we do trivia now?
We're going to do the trivia. We're going to put it up here for a few seconds to give everybody an opportunity to go ahead and type their answers in.
Wait for it.
I'm going to read it first before.
All right, I'll bring it up
on the screen. No,
you want to read it and then I bring it up?
Yes. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Here's
I'll bring it up.
Here's tonight's trivia.
Go slow because you can talk a little quick sometimes,
Okay, I will speak like Steve. What
song?
No. What song contains the sad truth that once you pass its borders, you can never return again?
All right. One more time.
Okay. What song contains the sad truth that once you pass its borders, you can never return again? We're going to leave this up for a few more seconds. So in case you're trying to Google it real quickly.
There we go. Oh, I
right.
the response in Scott.
Scott already got it.
Ding, 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 ding. Scott did it.
Very good, Scott. All right, Scott Becker, the answer is.
Oh, and Melissa was right behind him.
Oh, well, that.
And then Rex, honorable mention.
Honorable mention. That's great. Well, Scott, might want to make sure we get the name right. So
there he is. Look, Ken, that was so fun. I said the exact same thing when he did that to me. He said, sounds like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. Ken, you are a hoot. That's exactly what I thought.
But the difference is you can never leave. This is you can never return.
All right, all you elves, back to work. I know you've checked out, but you're not done yet.
All right,
keep going.
You are the winner. We're going to put your name into the hat to win a possible opportunity for a scholarship to North Pole Cornerstones in January of 2025. Way to go, Scott. Now,
I'm really sorry. I'm just loving Ken's response because that was my original response.
Of course, it was.
Not how to kill a good trivia question.
Well, for me, my favorite Eagles song was always Desperado. So, but see, inside information there too. But no, Scott, your name is going to go into the hat, and we're going to put you basically in, like we say, a trivia time out. So you won't be eligible for, I believe, how many days is it again, Michael?
30.
30 days? Okay.
I know we'll say 30. It sounds.
We're going to say 30, but we'll probably be wrong anyway.
Yes. Monk would like the 30 because it's all right. Never mind.
Okay.
I like Monk show too. All right. So you talked about emotional connection.
Right. Now we want to move in basically again for a little small activity. For emotional connection, think of a personal memory of a joyful Christmas experience and how can you use that emotion for your performance.
So what's yours?
Well, you know what? For me, I think it was the joy of receiving one of the best Christmas presents I ever had. And it's kind of crazy as it was a huge, like 3.5-foot styrofoam ship that actually had a little remote control helicopter that just went in a circle on a wire. Right. And you could scoop down and pick things up in the pretend water and pick it up and part. I love this thing. This thing was like the best thing ever. Well, I wanted to take it to a friend's house and my mom was like, don't take that out of the house. You're going to break it. No, I'm not. I got to show my friend. So I went running down the street and I tripped and fall and broke it in half.
So how can you use that?
Well, the thing for me is when I'm sitting in the chair or I'm performing as Herbie the elf or any one of the other Christmas characters, it's trying to emote the joy of the season that I felt just right then and there and be able to share because it's that excitement. I don't mind if a child comes up to me and asks me, Santa, all I really want for Christmas is a Trapper Keeper and pen so I could do better homework. Oh my goodness. I want to make a big deal about this and to show how much joy that little simple thing can bring because why? That's something that they truly want the most.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how about you? What would be one of your memories?
Well, I'm Dutch, and I know my body doesn't look Dutch, but it's more of the Highlander blood from my father's line. But I'm 25% Dutch. My grandfather came over from Duncombe and settled in Grand Rapids, so a lot of Christmas was wrapped around Dutch. In other words, bonket, pickled herring. There was some of those traditions that was there, and Grandma Opal, right? In other words, my mother's mother on the Dutch side, I would always get a pair of socks and a pair of underwear for Christmas, right? And one Christmas, Grandma gave me my own little jar of pickled herring. And it was like, and I remember we're looking at my dad and going, and you're not going to eat any of this. It's his Christmas present. And don't you dare ask for any of it. And it was like, Grandma had so much power. I mean, this is all mine. That was a magical Christmas for me. My little jar of pickled herring from my grandmother and her sticking up for me. And I didn't have to share. This was my gift. So that was a great memory for me as a child. One of them.
Well, there's some wonderful experiences here in the chat as well. Parker saying getting a Nintendo Wii in 2009, the first Christmas after my father's passing. And again, Parker, this is what I'm trying to refer to as capturing how you felt and how your character would feel as well, being able to maybe provide the hope of one of these. Sean White says, I remember the excitement for Christmas when I talked to the children. I think when an adult could have said to me. And then Tania says, my mom definitely influenced me. She made Christmas magical. And these are the wonderful moments that we're trying to look for when you're actually developing your character from an emotional standpoint.
Because you know that emotion, when you can draw on that emotion set, you can create magic.
Oh, definitely.
You take those seeds and you get to play them forward. And I'll say this about pickled herring, because in one component you think pickled herring, I grew up pretty poor. I can give you some great poor stories. We didn't have water and a toilet in our house until I was like 9 years old. So everything was outside pumping water, outside commode. Now that's not bad in the summer, but I want you to know an outhouse in the middle of winter, it was not a fun treat, but different story. So pickled herring, that you'll never know what's magical to the child. I don't think you'll never know how important something that seems trivial to you, or maybe you don't have the background to it, but realizing that every component, everything that's done has the seed of amazing power and magic.
Well, again, to piggyback on your comment, though, this is one of the reasons why I think this character development aspect is so important, because it is through this experiment and this exercise that we develop the personas that we don't know how it's going to manipulate a child's life.
Yeah.
You could provide a spark of hope where they don't have any. You can give them, it's okay to be different. One of our favorite stories we tell is the magical snowflake, which basically embodies that each one of us is unique. And that's why we love you so much. There's the magical snowflake. We could tell that one at another time.
We get to props. We get to the prop section. Yeah.
But the thing is, what all this is, these are the important steps, because your characterization of whatever character you are, whether it be Santa, Mrs. Claus, an elf, a reindeer, Goiter the polar bear, any one of these, the Grinch, Cindy Lou Who, you want to do your very best, and you want to basically make it as authentic and believable so you can keep this magic alive.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about some inward looking in voice, physicality, emotional, background, etc. But what else is important is research. Just putting on the red suit or putting on in something dealing with Mrs. Claus, whether it be an apron, a business suit, or any, for all I know, is a pair of dungarees, because Mrs. Claus works on the sleigh. She's a gearhead, and that's a wonderful thing to be. But at the same time, too, is do your research. We live in a world where basically every child walks around with a computer in their pocket almost.
Yeah.
And they can fact check you at any given time. So you always want to make sure that you do your research at any given time.
Yeah.
Another thing too is, again, rehearsals.
It gives you that research gives you the component in the portrayal of the character, going, I deliver a kid, my first stop is Christmas Island, and then I'll even say, you do have Google at home, right? Well, search it, you'll find it.
Well, again, though, even when you look at the tales of Saint Nicholas, did you know Saint Nicholas is basically the patron saint of thieves?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because his bones were actually taken from, I believe, Turkey, and basically they were stolen in the night to be actually taken to Italy. So again, no, this is the research, because you never know what situation that you're going in. There's a few other things in here. I believe Rex Ray was saying something along the lines of, I will show my age, but my grandmother gave me a Charlie McCarthy ventriloquist dummy one year.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that actually started my foray into performing arts. You see how magical that experience was, Rex? That is wonderful. Ken Kringle was saying Michael started out with pickled herring, and now that he wears the suit, he's turning into a red herring.
Just keep swimming.
That's Dory, wrong red herring.
Hey, it's a fish. I'm going for the fish. Yeah.
Sean says, I research everything. We are lucky to have Google rather than encyclopedia, but I do miss the encyclopedias and the smell of a library.
Those kinesthetic people, right?
Exactly. And Charlie, research is very important. As Michael just said, the kiddos will call you out for any erroneous information. Now, the other aspect that's really important as well is rehearsals. Now, you may think, look, I sit in a chair in a mall. I just take pictures. I go and visit people's homes. What do I need for rehearsals for?
Oh,
Well, every time you have an opportunity, you should practice, whether it be in the car, on your way to a gig, whether it be before you go to sleep or anything else. Because why? This will give you the opportunity to try out different things, changing your voice, changing your look, changing makeup styles, hairstyles. What else can we think of, Michael, as you sit there and gawk for the camera? Which you did look good, my brother.
My mind was running. You know that. Well, other things you should change is underwear. Don't forget to change your underwear. It's a good thing for a Santa to change his underwear. Any Christmas performer, elves and Mrs. Claus too.
Exactly, especially being in the sleigh with you. Yes, definitely something I think I would do too.
Yes, because they don't keep a frosty flush on the sleigh.
No. But another thing too is when we are talking about rehearsals, if you are fortunate to work with a team, whether it be on a set in a mall or in a theme park or corporate events, and you have elves or Mrs. Claus, rehearse together, develop that chemistry. Always rely and be positive that your partner is going to be there for you. And one of the other aspects is, which is important, is seek feedback. Feedback is important in our industry. Santa Truth says this the most, and you've heard it in a number of other classes. If you're a real bearded Santa, you can't be in the same place as other Santas, so you never get an opportunity to watch and take notes on how a Santa performs.
Yeah, I one of the things about teaching, middle school kids, which that's another whole, but one of the things that I loved about our principal is he had what's known as learning labs. Mm-hmm. And so in other words, he would literally take 6 teachers for the day and he would get substitutes for all of us. So that way we could be in a learning lab, and one person would volunteer for 5 other teachers to come sit in their room and watch them teach for the moment. And then when they taught, after they taught, all of us, then the sub took over for that teacher. We all went into another room and we discussed, and the teacher then would give us lessons like, these are things that I want to work on in my lesson, watch for them. So we got that in the pre-meeting, right? Then we got to watch her do their teaching, and then we went and we discussed it. And we always made sure that you found things that were positive. This isn't a cut down session. What did you do well? What did you do good? And in that environment did a couple different things. For me, it was like, oh, I never thought about doing that. Oh, I think I could do that. And so then it encouraged me to implement and try new things in my lessons and to communicate, with kids. And it gave that teacher the feedback immediately. And so if you get a group of people together, and we have a harder time with real beards to be able to come and watch that. But if you can film it, share that film, and then get together going, what did you like? Just like the other day when I did the library, I sent that video to you going, here's my new story. I'm not happy with the banter. What did I do well? What do I need to work on? And so your feedback to me, it was awesome. And so by the time I get ready for the holiday season, so that those learning labs, I think, are extremely important gig for us to embrace.
Oh, definitely. And again, it doesn't have to be within our own community. Ask your family members if you have a trusted friend.
Yeah.
And again, when we actually have all these regional groups, if it's, MAPS, or if it's the Ohio State Santas or the Buckeye Santas or the Hoosier Santas or any number of Santa groups, take the time and maybe get a group together and perform. Give an opportunity for everybody to see what you do and what could be what's good, what may need a little work, and try different elements. And the last point I'd just like to make here is consistency. By utilizing this character development skill set or these steps, you can ensure that your character portrayal will be consistent throughout the performance. This includes maintaining the character's physicality, voice, emotional depth. So again, if you actually employ some of these steps that we actually talked about this evening, you'll be able to make a real, breathing, believable, authentic character, no matter which path as a Christmas performer you choose. And some of the other aspects that I do want to bring up prior to going into our closing here is when we look at our influences, we want to embrace your influences. Doesn't mean to copy them, but instead, it's by understanding what makes these influences powerful and adapting these elements to creativity.
Yeah.
And also, you want to transform your inspirations, which involves putting your own unique spin on them and combine multiple sources to create something new and original. And of course, this goes out to, I know Michael and I, we are very known that we need to do this more. Practice productive procrastination. Meaning take breaks and engage in different activities that may actually lend to new ideas. In fact, Michael just told me a wonderful story today that he actually got the inspiration by mowing the grass.
Yes. Marcus the elf.
So you might hear more about Marcus in the future. But this might mean stepping away from the script or thought and explore other creative outlets like drawing, music, or even taking a walk. And again, build a creative ecosystem, which means surrounding yourself with a diverse array of influences and continually seeking new experiences. This approach will keep your character development process fresh and dynamic. And by all means, always be authentic.
Always.
The heart of a great performance is authenticity. Though we start with borrowed ideas and concepts, the final creation should be something deeply personal and true to ourselves. And again, just as an additional note, carry a notebook with you, wads of paper, or any number of other things that you can write on, whether it be your phone, your tablet, a computer, and make a journal. That way you can record any ideas, whether it be costume changes, personality traits that you might think of, or anything along those lines. And again, as I made reference earlier, create yourself a hero board with written elements and pictures of your heroes or your inspirations. So whenever you feel that you just need a little pick me up or you need to be set straight, as we like to say in the Navy, put on an even keel, you can always look up to the boards. I'm lucky. I have my brother that is always there for me whenever I need help. And we always have the choice to discuss. And as I mentioned earlier, I believe Michael and I are here for the community. If we can help in any way, shape, or form, please don't hesitate to reach out. We can do our best to help you or at least direct you in somewhere that you can go.
Yeah. Yeah. We've thrown a lot of information at
We
them.
did. I mean, we didn't think we'd cover all this stuff, but
is it possible? And I know we haven't discussed this before, but can you take these 3 sheets? Can you make a PDF and maybe we can put a QR code on our Facebook page and say, here, you can download this?
Oh yeah, we
can.
can.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that. That'd give me something to do.
Because I guess I look at it in the side of me going, it's like so many squirrels and not only that, but the information. And I think, I don't know, I need processing time. So in other words, I'll listen to something new and I really need to, mow it. Like I said, you got the story idea from the mowing the lawn. In other words, I need to get away, let it chew on it a little bit and dwell on it going, oh yeah. And I don't get so much anxiety that way. So if we can give them that, we'll put that QR on our Facebook page, and then that gives them some meditation time, thought time, processing time, down time, whatever time that you want to say it, which is a good time to say, please follow us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube And if you can, we'd always appreciate a click on like, responding or posting a comment. That algorithm stuffy thingy, works out so much better if we have interaction from you. And yeah.
Just to let you know real quickly, there's a cute little comment in here from Tania Hampson. Our 6-year-old grand is here. Just walked by the TV and asked, "Is Santa talking to himself?"
Oh, my
little one could be.
Stephen Gillum, thank you. We love you too. In fact, I'll do a plug. If you haven't had a chance, go out to santainthedriver.com and check out Stephen Gillum's. If you wanted some news stories and some resources, oh my, there's a plethora of stuff that's there from that brother, creative genius of him. And I
said he's one of my heroes up on my board because the man is on another planet when it comes to storytelling.
Yeah, yes, it is. So let's see. We're down to just a couple minutes left, Michael.
So again,
just to make sure that we've said and done.
Yeah. So just as a quick recap, the conversation we had today was all about character development and the importance of actually following some brief steps in order to make your authentic character believable, which is the heart of being a Christmas performer.
Yes. Yeah. It's all, you know what? We have a wonderful job.
Oh, we do.
We're blessed, brother. I mean, to be able to be Santa or Mrs. Claus or an elf, I'm not leaving them out as a generic thing because, it's easy for me to say.
When we say Santa, we mean the entire community.
Just the, I can't talk. Time's done. So many short stories are coming to my mind, but we appreciate each and every one of you because you know what? We're better together. So as we're talking, send us videos if you would, and please like it and follow us on YouTube and Facebook. And we're better together. I mean, that's how we become the best Christmas performer that we possibly can. It's not by yourself.
All right. So Michael, why don't you go ahead and give a little brief preview of what next week's show is going to be about?
Oh, next week we thought we'd talk about props a little bit. And so I have a wonderful prop I want to teach you. I'm going to show you how to make it. So that way you have something tangible, that easy supply, low budget radio show kind of thing, right? So we'll talk about props and the importance of props, but also the importance of non-props. We'll leave that hanging and for what it is.
And speaking of the budget, it has to be low budget because we have a very little budget, zero. But anyway,
if cookies. I mean, it's amazing what we'll do for a treat, right? Or I should say bacon. That's amazing what we'll do for a strip of bacon.
And remember, always, we are always better
together.
And what do we say next week's show is going to be? Oh, yeah, that's what they
prop me up.
We are going to talk about prop
you up. Yes.
That was our best Arnold. I mean, now we're showing our ages.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bless you so much.
We still have a couple comments in here.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
Can we still have a couple minutes here? So, Sal says I looked up Stephen Gillum and Leah McBride as my mentors. Michael Howell and Michael Buer are going on my board. Thank you, Matt. Melissa Lynn said mine too. Rex Ray says, and you get all done in just 1 hour. Yeah. Think about this, Rex. If we actually had the time, I could drone on and on.
I chose not to use my notes tonight.
But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this week. Again, we're looking forward to next week. Remember, props. And again, please send us your dad jokes. We can't wait to actually put those together. So if Michael, you want to take us out?
Yes, I will. Blessings, everyone. It was awesome. We're so glad you came to Kringle Time, and we look forward to seeing you again.